All right. So the title of our presentation today is One Brand, One Voice, One USU. This is aspirational. We know this is really hard to do. We have an incredibly complex organization that we work with. And I think everyone here who, especially if you're in marketing, probably appreciates that to various degrees. We have so many people who touch our brand, who represent our brand outward to consumers, and who are involved in messaging our brand. This is a really super hard thing to do. So that's one thing we focus on. We have a brand conference that I wasn't going to promote today, but in May we have a thing called Aggie Brand Con that probably a lot of you have already, we did it once, we're doing it again. It's coming back. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but that'll be May 14th. I wasn't supposed to promote it, but I'm going to. But doing these kinds of events helps us start to migrate into being one brand and one voice and then one USU. But today we're going to focus on a couple of things. Since this is a professional development conference, in particular, we wanted to give you guys things that can help you develop professionally or help you do your jobs or help you do your jobs better at USU within the context of branding. So we're going to focus on a few things today. In particular, we're going to go through our, show you some and that's why I hope for the people that are here in person that there is some usefulness here. But we are going to go into our brandusu.edu website and show you some things in there just to make sure you know everything that's in there, or at least some top level things that are in there for you to understand. This is our brand story. I'm not going to read this because you all can read pretty well, I think. And I don't have a great announcer voice, but this is our brand. This is the story, overarching story that we talk about. We called our brand story our brand anthem, but this is who Utah State is from 40,000 feet, 100,000 feet, whatever term we want to use, and guides us as we start talking about the different things we do. We have a set of university priorities that Amanda is not going to speak about, but I will today. These are things that for awkwardness, I just like to make it as awkward as possible. These are the top 6 things that President Cantwell, when she came in as the president, has said, this is what we want to focus on as a university, as a modern land grant. If you haven't heard that phrase already, you'll probably hear that a lot as this investiture event takes place and other things as she starts to kind of lay out her vision and her agenda for the university. Again, I'm not going to read these to you. You guys can all see them. But these are the things that are priorities from her perspective as far as us creating a modern land grant university. I'm going to turn the time over to Lindsi Glass.
Thank you. So we talk about one voice, one brand, one USU. And like Jay mentioned, that's really hard because, of who we are, and we are a state, we're statewide. So when we think about that, we're thinking about strategies for cohesion. And some of the things that we have outlined are brand guidelines. And today we're really going to focus on brand.usu.edu because it is a very robust site with a lot of guidelines on there, with a lot of tools and a lot of resources for all of our campus partners. But also there's collaboration and training and feedback mechanisms that all can play into creating that cohesion. With the collaboration and training, some of you might have went through some training with, say, Heidi Adams and Amy Brunson for trademark and licensing. Jay wasn't going to mention this, but since he has, there's Aggie BrandCon that'll be coming up. And then feedback mechanisms. So our president, she on her website has a way that you can submit feedback to her that gets submitted all across campus. There's been listening sessions that have been going on Logan campus and throughout statewide campuses. We have a contact list on brand.usu where you can submit feedback to all of the different constituents within our office. So there's various ways that you can submit feedback and let us know what's going on. But we're going to focus on brand.usu.edu because, again, it is a very large site with a lot of different information. This is what it looks like. It talks about our visual identity, our content standards, our tools and templates, and we're going to jump into it. So this is the site. This is the landing page if you go to brand.usu.edu or usu.edu/brand. When you come to it, it has this top nav with things that we've identified as top priorities. But if you're not sure what's in the different sections, you can scroll down. So this is what Jay mentioned. This is our brand story. This actually evolved from a brand perception survey we did a couple of years ago, where we surveyed different stakeholders and asked them all different sorts of questions about the brand. So that's how this evolved. If you continue to scroll down, this part lives here under our USU brand. I like to say that this is a great area if you are onboarding new employees and you want to give them a sense of who USU is. This has information about our brand differentiators, our brand essence, our persona, and our voice. So this is just a great section for new employees, or if you're seeing things out there and you just want to get kind of a sense of Utah State. This is a great section to visit, and it expands a little bit more on this brand story right here. And again, all of this is also kind of, it all evolved or originated from that brand perception survey that we did. If you keep scrolling down, this gives you kind of what you can find within these areas. So our brand standards, our brand toolkit, and our brand in action. So it gives you a little bit of a definition. Jay's going to talk a little bit about some of the resources and the assets. I want to spend just a little bit of time on brand standards, because within the brand standards, those are what I like to call like our how-tos and our informational components. There's a lot of consistencies within each of the brand standards. So you'll see there's a lot of standards. I'm not going to talk through all of them with you. I'm going to pick on myself and my team, and I'm going to do social media. So within social media, over on the left nav, you can see that we have guidelines, best practices, policies, procedures, and resources. Resources a lot of times will jump over into toolkit, where you can find things such as specs and templates. So that will take you over into our toolkit area. But over here in most sections is also where if there are any policies that are connected to one of these standards, this is where the policies live. So for us, we do have a social media policy right here, and you'll find that here. We have procedures. So what you would need to do for creating an officially recognized social media account. We have guidelines for what you need to do for freedom of speech or fundraising on a platform. So you can find those here. And if you go to any of these sections, there's consistency in what you'll find. If I go into video, again, you'll see best practices, some assets that you can use. There's a model release form. So there's a lot of consistency and guidelines for what you need to do, how you need to do it. And then a lot of times it will link over into resources. For brand in action, this is where you can get some examples. If you've read through our persona and our voice and you've looked at the standards and you just want a kind of an idea of what it looks like in, when it's brought to life. Again, picking on myself, we have some examples of what digital ads look like that kind of we think represent that one brand, one voice. And you can find digital, outdoor, print. These are updated based on what's going on. And like I said, we have the UMAC team. So for feedback, or if you see something, if you're over in the social media standards and you want a little bit more information about, what to do for creating an account, or if this doesn't make sense, then you know that going to digital strategy and analytics, you can reach out to Kelsey, who's a social media specialist, or myself to ask any questions or to provide feedback. I'm going to, USU brand standards, brand in action. That leaves us with toolkit. Jay, do you want to jump on up?
Yes. So now we're going to get really crazy. So not to confuse you, but we are going to go back to brand standards. There's a handful of things I want to show you that I think will be helpful. And some of you have probably used some of these resources before. Some of you, this may be news. Hopefully it's a little mix of both so that you're getting something out of this. But we're going to cover Photo Shelter, how we get access to high-level photos that our team takes and makes available to everyone. Talk about headshots that you can get, professional headshots, Canva. We're going to talk about templates for PowerPoints and QR codes, and we're going to talk about email signatures. So hopefully that's good stuff for you. Maybe a little bit, there's something there. The first thing I want to talk about is photos and how you can access the amazing photography that our team takes. And in particular, Levi Sim, who many of you probably already know. Just by show of hands, for those that are here in the room, how many of you know what Photo Shelter is and have used it? Christina, I'm so glad you're here today. I don't know if you have a need for this. How often do you, so for those of you that raised your hands that you do use Photo Shelter, how often do you guys access it, do you think, just anecdotally? Once in a while? A few times a year? Okay. Is it useful? Do you get frustrated with it? Are you able to do a search and find stuff? Lel's not. That's fine. Feedback is good. Uh-huh. And he finds them. Then he calls Andrew Diamond. Hello, Andrew. I know you're out there watching this. Lel Gilbert is nodding her head that she gets frustrated sometimes finding these, Andrew. So you should reach out to her. That's okay. No, we're always. Yeah. Oh, you reach out? Who do you call? Oh, Levi's great too. Levi will help you. Okay, good. So you know, we have tried to refine the search a lot. If you come to Aggie BrandCon and really care, we'll probably do something on Photo Shelter or do some things, and Andrew will show you how we have now an AI component to the search. And Andrew would, excuse me, Andrew or Levi could probably give you a really good demo on how to actually do a better search in Photo Shelter if you're accessing it enough. So Christina, this is just for you and anyone else that's out there on the broadcast. So you have access to an amazing gallery of Utah State photos. And we house them in a thing called Photo Shelter. So you can go find it in two places. On this website, you can click here on that button. Or if you don't want to mess around with the button, you can just go open a tab and put in the URL usu.photoshelter.com. And we always suggest signing on. There's a logon here. Actually, it's not showing up on my. Why does it say talking Amanda? So right there is where the log on usually is. We use the. Am I just being a goober here? There it is. There's your logon. I'm so glad you came today, Sean. I knew you were here for a reason. So we use the university single sign-on so that it knows who you are, because this thing actually has a couple bajillion galleries, maybe not quite a couple bajillion, but it has a lot of galleries. What we're showing here, since I didn't log on, I'm showing you the public galleries, depending on who you are. So Mel, if you're in Salt Lake, if you log on, you may be able to access the Salt Lake galleries. Or Tooele, excuse me. Sorry. But I'm going to just click real quick through here. So these are galleries that anyone in the world could access, download, use, whatever. And our goal here we really want to make the best pictures, the best images that we take available to everyone. And that's easier or harder. That's easier said than done. But this is an example. You can see if you go into this public gallery, here's campus scenery, fall, spring, winter. And if you click on here, you'll see we have a lot of images. If you ever have any ideas for any cool images that would fit into some of these things and you want to reach out to our friend Levi or Andrew Diamond, you can do that. But like, look how cool that is. I love this one. This one needs to be used more. But anyway, these are examples of, you know, the shots. This is an image that we've used a lot for presidential PowerPoint presentations and things that we've done. So you have access to these. We want you to use these. We don't want you to go to the internet and do a search and find crappy old images with a crappy old roof of Old Main that looks like it was 1980 and all that kind of stuff. We want people using the latest and greatest that is available. So good times there. That is Photo Shelter. Any questions about that? Not to pick on you, Christina, but you were the only person who hadn't used it. I know you're smart, but this is something you can use for all kinds of stuff.
Not in the marketing world. Get that, you know, and with students, and so this is perfect.
Christine, you can download this. I'm not making this up. I have an example of this. Andrew's going to freak out maybe if he's hearing this for trademark licensing. You can download this, take it somewhere, print it, and frame it if you want a big, beautiful picture of Old Main. And actually, I've had multiple people who reach out to me. They've said, "How do I access this?" And we put them there. And I know of someone that gave this to their mother for Christmas or something this last year. So you can access all these things. Just don't sell it. That's when we get in trouble. That's when Heidi Adams and trademark and licensing is going to be after you. So the next thing I want to talk about in this section is headshots. How many of you all have used our headshot service in the past? You know what it is? Christine, it is so good that you came here today. For those of you that are broadcasting or on the broadcast, Christina is an advisor in engineering. Oh, I thought you were. What do you do in engineering? Oh, I thought you were an advisor. That's what I had in my head. Okay. Anyway, Christina, other people have raised their hands that they've used this, but Christina hasn't. So that's why I'm picking on Christina. So headshots. Our next headshot session is April 9th, 2024. So that's next month. This is an easy place to go in and just sign up. And we do these at our little, very humble, sad little studio that we have down where Aggie Print is. PDP 201, I think is the number. 202. So you can sign up here. I'm not going to click through this, but you can sign up for those. Go down there and Levi Sim will take a wonderful standardized Utah State University headshot for you or anyone else in your college or people who need to do it. For those of you out at statewide campuses, and we have 2 people here from Moab and Tooele, Levi sometimes does those when he's out in your necks of the world. And you're always welcome to reach out to him and see when things may be heading his way. Yeah. So yeah, you like how I said that? Yeah. You know, it's one of those things. It's crazy how many headshots Levi takes in a year. Like it's a crazy number, and it takes a lot of work to. It's one thing to just go click and set it up, but the post production and making, publishing the images and making them available, that's a lot of work as well. So if you have students that are, we haven't turned anyone away. Let me just put it that way, but we don't publicize it to the whole world.
That's what I need to hear.
Yeah, don't put this in the College of Engineering newsletter and start sending everyone there. But people who need professional headshots for websites, the purpose, this is for Utah State University. Our fantasy, our dream is that one day when you click through all these websites that are managed by thousands of other people, that one day all the headshots in there will be the same or have the same look and feel, and they won't be like green backgrounds and blue backgrounds. They'll all be similar and standardized. That's our dream. I'm taking way too long talking about this right now. And Amanda wants to get up here and talk. How many of you have used Canva by a show of hands? Yes, Christina. Yes. I'm not going to talk about Canva too much. You guys already know what it is. This is really a mission critical tool that we have as an enterprise-wide license at Utah State. We spend a lot of money on that to be able to make that available to everybody. And it gives us a chance to create, to you all on a very micro level, to create branded, digital printed marketing assets with Utah State's brand. All those templates are designed by our design team. And that's part of trying to create this cohesive brand presentation outside. Well, that was the next thing I was going to say. In fact, tomorrow at 9:30 and 10:30, Amy Brunson and Heidi Adams are doing a breakout session that they're going to show you. I think it's called 7 hacks or 10 hacks for Canva. Also, Aggie BrandCon that we've been promoting. Last year we did a breakout session. I would imagine we will do a breakout session this year, also showing people how to use it. Also, if you just probably want a starter, you could reach out to Amy Brunson. and she'd be happy. I'm speaking for Amy. They'd be happy probably, especially if you had a few people. She'd probably be happy to conduct a training and show you all how to get up and running on it.
And we're interested in best practices, like, so is
Yeah.
the best practice to have one sign into the college or to have?
It's a money practice.
But that's what your preference
That's
is?
that, yeah, I don't administer it. I let you ask Amy and Heidi in particular, but yeah, that's how we generally are doing it. We spend, for those of you, I don't even know how much we spend. I kind of lost track. It's around $25,000 or $30,000 a year for that as an enterprise-wise license. Oh, it's amazing. And it really is helpful. You know, we used a lot of that stuff. Sometimes was coming to our design team to do pizza parties at Tooele for whatever. And that's just not the best use of time. So it's allowed us to really be scalable and scale up the quantity of materials. And then it gives people a chance to work within branded parameters and not do nonsensical things, and makes it, hopefully it's pretty fast and easy to use for you guys. So anyway, Christina even uses it. So it's got to be awesome. But 9:30, 10:30 tomorrow, if you really want to go to a Canva breakout session. Next thing I want to show you real quickly is templates. Hopefully some of you have used these a little bit. How many of you have used the QR code thing we have here? Gosh darn, you guys are good. So have you found it helpful, useful? I'm a person who does this about twice a year, and I can't remember how to always do it. So this is actually, this page, this QR code page is the one page I actually visit and use as a looking through the lens of an actual user instead of someone who helped create the content on the site. And it's excellent. It gives us a chance to create USU branded QR codes. It's really nice. And it's pretty simple to use once you do it once. Templates, how many of you have used our PowerPoint templates or aware of this? So here's another thing to be aware of. So these are branded PowerPoint templates that you're welcome to tap into. I'm not going to click through these because I've already been talking too long and Amanda is anxious to get up here. But these are a great resource as well. Feel free to pass these out to faculty, other staff. Let them be aware of this. It really helps. And I'm thinking the last thing, logos. How many of you ever access our logo libraries? Probably all of you. Shandon, no?
I just sent it to our marketing person to like, make this for me, please.
It's magic how that works. God bless you, Mac.
Sometimes I've looked it up and be like, I can use this, right? Yeah, but as far as making materials, I would send it to someone else.
Here's examples of the QR codes that you can create. You can get a little crazy with the QR code monkey, but tap into this page if you have any questions about what logos to use, not use for the various colleges, offices, or organizations you're a part of. And again, if you ever have any questions, you can reach out to our wonderful trademark and licensing team and Heidi Adams, Amy Brunson, and Alexa Bills. And the last thing I'm going to mention, how many of you have used our email, branded email signature generator? Lel, this is good. This is good stuff, Lel. Where is it though? I'm trying to remember. Hold on. I got it. Brand standard stationery. Email signature. So I've actually, this is again anecdotal. I have actually noticed since this tool was introduced around campus, the number of, like, sometimes you guys see these like just crazy email signatures from someone internally from Utah State. We've never said you have to use this. We encourage people to use it. And this gives you a chance to generate an email signature that's branded for USU, and it gives you a few different options there. So it's really easy, Lel. I suggest you do it for yourself and any other people in the College of Natural Resources. Okay, questions? Yeah. I don't know if there's a downloadable template. There's a blah, blah. There is something like that. I don't know how to click right to it. Again, ask Heidi or Amy. They're more than happy to help you. Yes, there is something. I don't know if it's a template though. I don't know that there is. There's definitely there's something in the logo library to show you how to do it, but I don't know if it's a template. Okay, I'm going to turn the time over to Amanda, who's going to take us home for the last 6 or 7 minutes,
Sure.
including the why.
That's right. I'll do that too. Okay. So I'm just going to go through a few more things that have to do with my area, which is the strategic communications. This is like the wrong way. Okay. So I know that, I know Lel knows about this, but we do have an editorial style guide. This is for any writing associated with USU. So we're talking news releases, copy for websites, anything for print publications, reports, email campaigns, all of that stuff. We try to get everyone to write in the same way and have a consistent style. It just reflects well on USU as a professional institution. We base our style guide off of the AP style book, but we make a few tweaks, such as using the Oxford comma, which the style book doesn't. So this is obviously not for academic writing, and we also know that our policy folks use their own policy manuals. So it's a little different for them. Some things to highlight on here. Has anyone used this or referred to it besides Lel? So, oh, good job, guys. So couple of things to note. It's actually a great resource if you're looking for, like, when do I capitalize? How do I refer to the statewide campuses? Like, what is kind of the official way we're supposed to write statewide campus names? Same with the colleges. We even have like a second reference guide. So like, how do I refer to a college? And then on the second reference, what can I say? So a lot of really good resources in here. And then also, we also have a good glossary of academia sort of terms. So things that you see in academia that maybe word usage issues you don't see out of that. So like, when do I use alum, alumnus, alumna, all of those kinds of things. Or you can just keep it simple and use alum. How to refer to different degrees. I mean, even, just different things that we use often, course titles, words like coursework, which is really common in academia. And then the last thing that I want to point you to is our inclusion guidance. So this is our guidance we refer people to when we're talking about underrepresented populations. How do we refer to people with disabilities or with specific disabilities? This is always an evolving space. So we update our style guide every year, and this is one of the areas that we usually do the most updates to, because it seems like it's evolving faster than, say, like the AP style book. If you ever see anything in here that you are confused about, that it's just written in a way that doesn't totally make sense, or you want more information, then you should email or call Steve Kent. He's our Utah State Today editor, and he is kind of our holder of the style guide. He's also the person I call if I just don't feel like looking something up, honestly. So you're always welcome to reach out to him. One more thing I wanted to just make sure you guys knew about is that we have a list of campus collaborators on the brand site under UMAC team. These are the folks who aren't housed under UMAC, but are the people we work closely across the whole university with. You'll see Lel is on here as the Quinney College communicator. We have communicators in all the colleges, and then actually a lot of our other units, even non-academic units as well. So whenever we get a story pitch from a staff member or a faculty member, we send them back to their college communicator. And then those are the folks who really look at the strategy of the college or unit and decide whether or not to put out a story. And then speaking of stories, one last thing before we let you guys go. So all of you have heard of Utah State Today, right? This is our news site. This is where everything that happens at Utah State Today is published, all the interesting news. There's an email blast that goes out every Thursday. If you're not getting it, it's because it's probably going into a different folder in your Outlook. So you might want to search for it and just make sure you keep moving it into your focused folder so that you can start getting it there. So yeah, if you just read your email every week, you'll be completely up to date on Utah State. Any questions? No? Okay. Let's see. Awesome. So just to recap why we want everyone to use kind of this one brand, one USU brand. It really helps us with brand recognition. If people see the same kind of imagery, the same kind of messaging, they know it's all coming from one institution, and it strengthens all of us. It increases the engagement with the university, and it really makes us feel like we're just connected. It strengthens our whole community. And I think that's all we have, except questions for any presenter.